Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the next video on animal versus plant cells. So let's get started on this short video. So there's two types of cells that we really go through and discuss when we're talking about eukaryotic cells. We have animal cells, and then we also have plant cells. Now remember, both of these cells are eukaryotic cells. What does eukaryotic cell mean? Well, eukaryotic cells are cells that contain a nucleus and organelles and are enclosed by a plasma membrane. So it's really vital and important for us to understand we have two different types of cells, animal and plant cells, and there are some key components that are different between the two. So if we're looking at these two cells here, we're going to have an animal cell on the left, and then we have a plant cell on the right. Now immediately I can see that we have a cell wall here. There's a large cell wall on this cell, and there is not a cell wall present here. This is the first giveaway that I know that this is a plant cell and this is an animal cell. Now the reason it has a cell wall is it provides support. Remember, we have skeletal structure in our body that allows us to go through and attach these cells to it. Plants don't have that skeleton, and they also need to have this cell wall to maintain turgor pressure for osmotic functions in their body, which we will learn about later. Now the second thing that I see here is I see these little stacks here, and these are the chloroplasts. So these are the chloroplasts because plants are autotrophs. And remember, an autotroph is something that goes through and produces food via sunlight. So we're getting food via sunlight in plants. Now, here's the question. These chloroplasts they essentially go through and produce glucose. So do plant cells have mitochondria? Well, yes, they do. There's a mitochondria here. So this is one of the things that students get confused about. We still have mitochondria in plant cells. Still have the mitochondria. So if we have this cell wall here, do we need a cell membrane? And the answer to that, this is another thing that students get confused on, is yes. This plant cell still also has a cell membrane to regulate salts and different waters going through and getting in and out of the cell. Now if we look at this animal cell, it does not have a cell wall. So we're going to say no cell wall. And the other thing that we definitely don't see in here is we have no chloroplasts. So no chloroplasts. So we're looking at this and immediately I can say, okay, it doesn't have a cell wall, it doesn't have chloroplasts, but one of the things that this is going to have that a plant cell does not, that we haven't really gone through and discussed, is peroxisomes. And peroxisomes' entire function is to break down fatty acids. So it's going through and it's breaking fatty acids. And we don't generally see these when we're going through and looking at plant cells. But the big difference that we see between these is we have a cell wall on this plant cell. We have chloroplasts here that an animal cell does not. Remember, we still have mitochondria though in both cells, and we still have a cell membrane, but we are going through and missing these components. Now the last thing that students generally get confused about is they assume that plant cells are the only types of cells that have a vacuole. And in some protists, they do have a vacuole to pump water out of the cell. However, vacuoles are generally found in plant cells, specifically large vacuoles to store water for photosynthesis. But we can also have vacuoles in plant cells because it's necessary for some protists to pump out excess water because of all the salt and solution that they have in their body. So did you guys learn? Well, did you learn the fundamental components and differences between plant and animal cells here? The whole goal of this video is just to give you a short understanding and say, all right, plant cells have chloroplasts, animal cells do not, etc. So did you get the fundamental components of both? what each of them have and what each of them do not have. This is going to be the end of the video. I will see you guys in class tomorrow.